Hey Guardians, it's Todd the Gator here with another Hey Bungie video. You know, there's been a lot of drama lately in the Destiny 2 community, and I'm not here to add to it by all means. But maybe I can offer up a suggestion that Bungie might want to put into place in order to create some goodwill within the community. You know, lately the community in general has seen that Bungie is working on other games like Marathon for the future of their studio, and it may appear to us Guardians playing Destiny 2 that we're being a little ignored, or at least being put on the back burner when it comes to issues like server stability, Crucible content and cheaters, and monetization. In other words, we feel like Destiny 2 is the cash cow and we're getting fully milked and taken advantage of. I can see how this may be the case, as Bungie has a limit on developer talent. You know, and as a business, they need to spread that talent around a bit. Okay, with that in mind, there has been some feedback from the community that the monetization of Destiny 2 has gotten way out of control. Eververse seems to have a lot more creative energy aimed at new content in the form of sparrows, ships, ornaments, ghost projections, emotes, shaders than what the seasonal content provides. And these items in Eververse are really expensive and require either in-game earnable currency, called Bright Dust, or real-world currency in the form of silver. I don't know about you, but spending $10 for an exotic emote is really expensive, since the entire year of content for Destiny 2 with all the seasons included is about $100. It's not like that emote does anything for me, but it looks cool, and you want to show it off to your friends on that next raid group, right? So what is the solution here? As many of you know, I've played Destiny since the beta back in 2014 and have over 5,000 hours between multiple accounts, and I've seen how Destiny has evolved over the nearly 10 years now. My suggestion is based on what Bungie did have in place back in the early years of Destiny 2, and I really think they need to bring it back. For some of you veteran Destiny 2 gamers, you might remember the early years of the Eververse storefront. You would get an Eververse engram sporadically while playing the game, and you'd then turn them into Tess, and she would give you a random item from the Eververse store. Just like the bright engrams we get today, but it's more determined from sources like leveling up the season pass. And sometimes you get them randomly throughout the game, but you also get one of these engrams for every 5 levels past 100, guaranteed. This is great for those of us that quickly reach the level 100 pass bar and have claimed all the items of the season pass, and now need a better reason to continue to play. You know, I remember back in 2017 to late 2019, before the Shadowkeep expansion, you could dismantle items for Bright Dust. Anything you received from the Eververse store that you didn't want to keep could be dismantled this way. Once Shadowkeep was launched though, Bungie made the change to the Bright Dust economy where you gained Bright Dust from seasonal challenges and season passes. What they also changed was any items from Eververse that you didn't want and you dismantled, now only gave you a little glimmer and a few legendary shards. I believe 10,500 Bright Dust is awarded from paying customers and 7,500 from free-to-play Guardians. And this may seem like a lot of Bright Dust, but farming Bright Dust just got a lot harder to do. The only way to farm it today is by completing repeatable bounties from the Vanguard, Crucible, and Gambit. That's it. A measly 10 Bright Dust per bounty. Oh, and you can complete 8 bounties for the week on these vendors and get 120 Bright Dust also. Wow, thanks Bungie. You can also farm it during seasonal events like Solstice, etc. But to add insult to injury, the cost of items for Bright Dust was greatly increased as well. So the net benefit was a lot less Bright Dust for us Guardians, and no way to farm it, versus pre-Shadowkeep. I remember when Bungie made this change, and I was not happy about it. I had farmed so much Bright Dust, and more importantly, had so much flexibility on what I wanted to spend it on as well. This was discussed on our podcast, Guardian Downcast, recently. Take a listen. Do you guys remember the very first part of Destiny 2 when Bright Dust would buy you so much stuff in the store? You wouldn't even have to pay for stuff because they were throwing Bright Dust at you like candy. You remember those days where you had 30, 40,000 Bright Dust all the time, and you could just buy it. You could just use your Bright Dust to buy anything in the store. That lasted so long for me. And there was a moment, I don't know where it happened, where they made it, I think it was maybe the state of the game and maybe second or third year of Destiny 2, where they flipped the switch and they made everything super expensive Bright Dust wise, and then they gave you less of it. And I remember back then I complained about that. and who knows how it was taken, but they need to bring back that Bright Dust. That would be some goodwill they could give to the community. It's just so commercial. It's just so.
Dude, it's par for the course, man.
I know all games are like this now.
Bungie is not doing anything that nobody else is.
I agree. I agree with you. But I just think in-game currency, they need to tweak that back up again.
Bright Dust is easier to get now because you've got the bounties. So there's a lot more bounties. But if you look at the price that they showed in the video of the 10xing the shader costs, I don't think that quite lines up. Plus, it was a lot less things on the Eververse store at the time. So I don't know. It's still possible to do that stuff. It's just hard. You got to be there every week to see what's you can get for your Bright Dust if you want to get the sets that way.
One shader is 400 Bright Dust.
300 Bright Dust.
Okay, 300. That is 30 repeatable bounties, whether it's Crucible, Gambit, or Vanguard. 30 for that one shader. That's a lot of work, man. Those bounties aren't that easy. So here's my suggestion. Back when you would get that Eververse Engram and Tess would give you an item, if you didn't like what you received, you could dismantle it and you were rewarded with Bright Dust. Bungie was pretty generous with Bright Dust back then, and you could easily pile up 5-figure amounts of it to use however way you liked. And you could easily pile up 5-figure amounts of it to use however you liked in the Eververse store for items that were offered each week. With all the grumblings of more and more monetization of items in the Eververse store, and the fact that a majority of the items you get from Bright Engrams is a lousy Ghost, Ship, or Sparrow, which has been the majority of my rewards, I don't know about you, why not bring back the option to dismantle these items into Bright Dust instead of easily accessible legendary shards and Glimmer? These mediocre rewards from Eververse are now more commonplace with more items in the possible loot pool, like Ghost projections and the fact that shaders now cost 300 Bright Dust, or worse. Real money. If Bungie brought back this ability, then in the Guardian's eyes, they would use alternative routes of acquiring the really cool stuff now in the store, and not feel the need to use silver, real money. Offering more items in the store for Bright Dust would also need to be a thing, as well as to complement the new economy, or better yet, how about 2 prices for all items in the store? In other words, a cool exotic ship you want is either 1200 silver or 2400 Bright Dust. I don't know about you, but this would seem like a lot more transparent way and not so greedy system for Bungie to put into use. What do you think? Am I out of line here? Or would this be a turning point for Bungie in the game's storefront? Let me know in the comments below, and hey, remember to be kind to your fellow Guardians out there in the Destinyverse. Take care, and later, Guardian.